Hello everyone, I'm Nima and welcome to my YouTube channel. In one of my previous videos, I showed you guys what's in my knife kit as a culinary student. Today I have my friend Dylan over here. He's a baking and pastry major and we will see what's in his knife kit today. So Dylan, would you like to introduce yourself, like your name, where you're from, and your major here at the CIA?
Hi, my name is Dylan James Guzman. I am a baking and pastry arts major at the Culinary Institute of America, and I'm just a regular baking and pastry arts student. I'm not like Nima where he's specifically in the culinary program of a specific type of degree. I am only here for a year and a half, and I am from the island of Maui in the state of Hawaii. And I have my baking kit, and the kit is the same thing as the culinary kids have. Has of course where to find us, our full name, our contact information. And as you can see, it's a little dirty because in the bake shop we can't control the mess that's in there, so like we have to deal with a lot of flour and sugar and whatnot, so that's why it's a little dirty. So in our kit we have a lot of stuff in here. First thing is our scale. We use this to measure our ingredients, or as we call it, our mise en place before the bake shop. Depending on the chef, we can measure early or we have to measure it on, so it does tend to get messy. This thing can measure in grams or ounces, as you can see here, on and off, and you can tear it so that you won't get inaccurate measurements. So, and this thing can come off, as you can see. Yeah.
And do you put the food product on this, or you put it on this? Like, is this the cover for that?
Either way, it doesn't really matter. We can,
okay.
But for all of us, I always see the people with the cover on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Our next is a very special thermometer that only baking students have. What this is it's a multitasking one. This thing can not only just check temperature, it can also have a timer on it, an alarm. You can change to a volume, hours, minutes, and of course the clear button. It's magnetic on the back, and you can change it from Fahrenheit to Celsius. You can even do a calculator on it. And here's the probe to connect it, and you can check the temperature of whatever you're baking without actually using the kind of probes that the culinary kids have. And it can handle heat, so you can use it in the oven, but you can't leave it in the oven. Next is what both programs have. It is our paring knife. In the bake shop, we barely use this as far as I've known. The only times I've seen us use this is when we cut open a vanilla bean. But yeah, we both have a paring knife. But yeah. Next is a core, as what I've called it. Pretty sure there's a different name for it, but basically is like what this is used is to take out the cores of the apple, because from what I talked to my culinary chef, my baking chef, is that we don't bake it with the cores on. We take the cores out depending on the measurement that we want. And we can also use it to take out the top part of the middle section and the bottom part of the middle section. The next is a different type of core. My bake shop fundamental chef said that this is the useless tool ever, because this doesn't work. Basically, you just push this in the center of the apple from the top, manually drill it in, and it's supposedly supposed to take out the core. As you can see, the indent. He says it doesn't work. I never tested it, but as far as I've known, we never use this ever.
Wait, I have an apple. Can we try it right now?
We can try it.
Yeah. Here. See if it works or not.
So the idea is like that, and you drill it.
Uh-huh. Oh.
Supposed to take the core like that. He says it's the useless
tool. Yeah,
too.
you can see.
But I don't know. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. You keep going.
Yeah. The next is an office special. This is a mini version. This is what's used to decorate cakes. If you want to decorate using small cakes, we basically have it right here, a specific type of angle, and we rotate using some sort of rotating table, and we make the buttercream on the cake look smooth, so it's nice, looks beautiful, and it looks elegant. But yeah, it's a small one. The next thing is measuring spoons. This is a very, very common tool in the bake shop, and the reason why we think this is very good is because we want our measurements to be accurate. In the bake shop, if you even mess it up by even like 1/4 of a teaspoon, depending on the recipe, you could screw it up very much. That's why you have to be careful, and we're always accurate, even if it means we have to use a flat kind of tool to even scrape off any excess to get the full measurement. The next items is our piping tips. This is what's used to pipe the buttercream on cakes to make beautiful designs like rosettes, pearls, shells is what we call it. There's multiple types of piping tips. We can even use this to pipe in stuff like eclairs, whatnot. There's a multitude of measurements for the piping tips, so it's very specific. There's even special designs of these piping tips, as you can see with the serrated edge. It's for special designs, even a very small one with a very thin output opening. The next thing is what we call shears. It's basically like this is what both the culinary and baking kits have to cut open bags, whatnot. Next is what both of us have is a peeler. We use this to peel the skin on apples, basically fruits. Next is, this didn't come with my kit, I got it, but it's a mini calculator. This is very useful in the bake shop because in the bake shop we do a lot of calculations, and since we don't have the time to do it in our head and we won't make mistakes, we have this at the ready so that if we're in a time rush, we have this at hand. Next thing is my bowl scraper. In the bake shop, we use this to scrape like the batter from the bowls, or we can use it to scrape other stuff that we make. This can be used as a cleaning utensil, but as far as I know, we only use it for like helping scrape off things off bowls. Next is the bench scraper. This is a multi-use tool. We can either use this to use it for the buttercream on the cakes when we're using the rotating table, or we can use it as a cleaning utensil. We have special tables in the bake shop. They're wood tables. We have a cleaning procedure that we have to use, and we use this to scrape off any of the excess dirt after we're scrubbing, and it's very effective. This is like some cake decorator. Basically, you use it on the side to decorate the buttercream on the cake. Unique designs, of course, in every edge. You can also use this for chocolate. I've seen my chef use it to decorate this thin pieces of like appetizing size chocolates, where we basically do it like that. The next thing on is our we call it our pastry brush. Basically, of course, we use this to brush commonly like egg wash onto our breads or our baked goods. We can use this to brush butter on top of any of our other pastries. But yeah, we use this a lot. Next thing is what we would call, my chef didn't call this a pizza cutter, we call it a pastry cutter. But yeah, both the culinary and baking kits have this.
No, we don't have it.
You know?
No.
No. I
Yeah,
guess,
I don't know.
So I guess only baking students have this. We basically use this to we can use it to cut our dough. I know we use this to cut our croissants, to shape it, as far as I've known. Next is our whisk. Very, very common in the bake shop and very useful. We use this for a multitude of tasks. Whisking our eggs, whipping our egg whites to make a beautiful, light, fluffy type kind of consistency. We use this for just mixing anything. Very useful, very common also in the bake shop. I use this for in kind pots where we have to make like a vanilla anglaise, or we have to use some sort of flat surface like this, whatnot. Very useful. We also use this for like checking out when the vanilla anglaise is nappe. It's very common and very useful. Next is rubber spatula. Both of us have these, basically used to scrape off, like, of course, the whipped egg whites, whatnot. Basically, in a way, it helps take out most of it, and we can get the most amount of said in the recipe, so that we won't get anything wasted. They are very common. Next is what only the baking students have, is our cookie cutters. very common in the bake shop to use. We don't just use it for cutting cookies, of course. We can use it for biscuits, for other kind of things that we can creatively use. There's two different ones because this one has a smooth surface, as you can see, where you can just cut a smooth circular shape. Multi-do, there's a lot of pieces in here from small to big. And this one is a kind of serrated kind thing where you can shape into like this kind in indents. And what's good about this one, as you can see, is that it can go like that. It's because it can hold in place like a chandelier.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Of course, we have our ruler. Do both of us? Do you have
No, we don't have rulers.
Oh, wow. I guess only baking students have these. We use this to measure how long our pastry jars, like how we use this for our apple strip, which is a very long thing, has to be like, I think 26 inches. Next, over here, we have our tongs. Both culinary and baking students have these.
Yeah.
Of course, you unlock it, it opens, lock it. Next is, what do you call this?
It's steel.
Steel?
Yeah.
I never use this because in the bake shop, we barely use our knives.
Right.
So in rare occasions, since we barely use it, we don't need to use it for our knives. So that's why, yeah, we both have this.
Yeah, you barely use it. You
Yeah.
never used it before,
Yeah,
right?
we never used it, yeah.
Yeah.
Next is, of course, the most common tool is the chef knife. We use this in the bake shop to cut a multitude of things. We can use it to cut our fruits. We can use it to cut our shapes of croissants. We can use it to cut anything. But yeah, very common. But like I said, we barely use our knives in the bake shop. As far as ever since I was here, I barely used it. Next two items is the spatula and offset. This is the bigger version. Like how I said with the small one, decorating cakes, bigger cakes. Same goes for this one, more flat surface. But yeah, basically this one we can use for the top of the cake to make sure it's all nice and smooth. There's no hills or whatnot, or this one of course on the side or whatnot. Same goes for the ply. But yeah, we both have these two ones. I know you guys don't have these two.
We don't have.
Yeah,
we
don't
only
have
have the small one.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have these ones. This is only for the baking students. Lastly is our bread knife. I know that the culinary kids have it, but ours is bigger.
Yeah, ours is different.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is our bread knife. It's much bigger than the culinary kids have. Of course, it uses to cut bread, and I use this a lot, especially in my bake shop. I recently finished my breads class, but yeah, we use this to cut bread a lot. So this is gonna be another common tool we use. And not just bread, we can usually use it for some pastries as well. But yeah, this is the bread knife that we have. This is all of the tools in my baking kit. As you can see, it is a lot.
Yeah. So Dylan, if you only had to choose 5 of these tools, like only 5 of them, what would you choose?
I would choose, my first item would be my thermometer. This is used a lot. And the reason why is because I like it is because it's very unique, and also we want to be very accurate. And if it means using a very amazing tool like this, I like it. I was wowed by that this thing actually exists. But yeah, I like our special thermometer. My second item would be my bench scraper. I love multi-use items, and I've used this a lot, and I personally like it. And this thing is very strong. It's not sharp, and also, yeah, I like it. We use this like 24/7 in the bake shop. It gives me a very accurate measurement of how much of the ingredients that we're putting into our container. Very useful. I recommend having this for any baking student who has it ready at the hand. And it's portable too. So that's what I like. It's portable enough for you to carry in your kit.
So 3.
My
1.
fourth item would be my rubber spatula. We use this. It's a very, very helpful tool, especially since we're using mixers from the KitchenAid where it's like a 8-quart to commercial grade mixers where it's like a 20-quart or 30-quart. Now these things help because we don't always have to reach down and grab it. Why not? We can simply use this, scrape it off, put it in there. My final tool would be the bread knife. The bread knife is a very useful tool, especially to cutting breads if you want a good cut from a bread. And as you've known, when cutting bread, the crust can easily break when you're cutting. So this one will help when you're easily cutting the bread if you know how to cut right with a knife in general. But yeah, a bread knife is, to me, is very useful, very efficient, and I like it.
Yeah, that's why you can't cut bread with a chef knife.
Yeah,
right.
It can.
Yeah, you can, but it's not the most efficient way, right? Yeah.
Like that's why this was made to make life easier, especially when you're cutting bread.
Yeah. All right, everyone. This is the end of the video. Thank you, Dylan, for explaining all these tools and showing us what you have in your knife kit. And if you guys want to support me, make sure to like my videos as you watch them. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you, and until the next video, I will see you all later. Thank you.
Bye.